And then he says, verse 9, then the Lord your God will prosper you abundantly in all the work of your hand, in the offspring of your body, the offspring of your cattle, the produce of your ground. For the Lord will again rejoice over you for good, just as he rejoiced over your fathers, if you obey the Lord your God to keep his commandments and his statutes, which are written in this book. If you turn to the Lord your God with all your heart and soul. Now watch very closely in verse 11. For this commandment, which I command to you today, it is not too difficult for you. It is not out of reach. Galatians 5:3 doesn't say it's impossible to keep the law. There's an atonement law because he knew they were not going to, because the sin nature makes it impossible for you to be perfect. Please get out of your mind the Christian statement that if I kept all the laws, I'd be perfect. When I say I haven't made these laws too difficult for you, they include the body of law as to how to deal with the fact that the sin nature will constantly manifest itself. Does that make sense? So from the beginning, God never expected perfection. He expected allegiance. What's the difference? Believers, what's the difference? Does he expect you to walk every day with perfection? He expects you to walk with him, not just his rules. He wants you to care about when you've offended him, not simply walk along like doing the wrong thing is okay with him. God doesn't get out of his chair upset with you until you decide that wrong is really right, right is really wrong, and you can live that way and you're perfectly comfortable with it. As long as you are inflicted with the guilt and you go back to conviction, and that conviction leads you to change, that's what we call a walk with God. All right, I want to just give you, by way of introduction to Deuteronomy, on the front flap of Deuteronomy in your Bible, you may want to have a couple of notes. First, let's just talk about the authorship of the book. It's clear that the internal evidence of the book argues that Moses is the author, but the ending, in my view, proves that there was an editor involved in the book. Don't be the Sunday school Christian that is concerned about the idea that someone else touched the book after Moses. What Moses gave us were the leaves of what God had done. But let's suppose that Joshua, or maybe Samuel, or maybe even as late as Ezra, somebody cleaned up the narrative and put it in the order that we have it today. Don't let that bother you. In fact, if you look closely, I'm one of those guys who does not believe that Moses sat there weeping over the story of his own death as he wrote how he died. I think somebody else put that on the book. But I don't think you need to worry about that. I think the fact that some Psalms are written by people and you don't know who they're written by doesn't make them not God's word. The line between believers and non-believers in terms of the evangelical sense of the Bible is this God's word, not did Moses write it? Don't get yourself caught up in the authorship arguments. Because the fact of the matter is, it's pretty clear to me that somebody added to this discussion. Let me just show that to you. First of all, when in verses 1 through 5, you find out that these claim to be the words of Moses spoke in Transjordan. That is the opposite side of the Jordan from where Eretz Israel, or the land of Israel, is today. It's in what today would be the Hashemite kingdom of Jordan. Now, the point is that in the opening verses, these are the words of Moses, but they're from the opposite side, not coming into the land, because Moses was told he couldn't come into the land, right? And if you look very carefully, you'll find also in 4:44 to 49, chapter 4, verses 44 to 49, that some of these were given by Moses opposite of Beit Peor in the land of Sihon, and some of them in 29:1 were given in the land of Moab, which means in the area east of the Dead Sea, north of the halfway point, which is a deep wadi that cuts the Dead Sea in half. The important thing is this. These are things from the east side of the Jordan River given by Moses. That's their essential seed form. But Moses also says in the book that he wrote things that are being said in the book. For instance, if you were to look in 31, verses 1 and 2, This is Deuteronomy 31, verses 1 and 2. I would make a note in the beginning of Deuteronomy to say that Moses claims, I am 121 years old, and I am no longer able to come and go, and I'm not allowed to cross into the Jordan. And it's clear that he's making reference that he's the author and he's the one who met with God and spoke concerning these things. Now, the interesting thing is that if you go back to the first chapter and look at those first few verses, what you will find in them is a clue as to when this book is put together. You see in verses 2 and 3 of chapter 1, it is 11 days' journey from Horeb by way of Mount Seir to Kadesh Barnea. In the 40th year, on the first day of the 11th month, I'm having trouble with my words again. On the first day of the 11th month, Moses spoke to the children of Israel according to all that the Lord had commanded him to give them. Let me just have you zero in on the verse 2 where it says it was an 11-day journey. Here's what I want you to see. This book, the theme of this book, is 40 years in replacement of 11 days. That's the theme. It could have taken us 11 days. Instead of taking us 11 days, it took us 40 years. That's the beginning of you're not going to believe what happened on our vacation. It should have took us 3 hours to get there. We got there in 3 days. Okay, it's one of those stories. So there's kind of a downbeat little smiley face next to verse 2 that says, hey, 11 years, 11 days, but it was replaced by 40 years. And so what you're supposed to do is walk away with a 40-year journey, replacing 11-day journey. Why is Kadesh Barnea mentioned? It's mentioned because from Kadesh Barnea, they move up with Numbers 13 and 14 and go up into the land, and they get the chance with the spies to go into the land from Kadesh Barnea up through the wilderness of Zin, up into the Hebron Plateau, and they go all the way up in there, and they get scared and they come back with their grapes. And the point is that fear is what stopped them from obedience. And by the way, that's what stops most believers from obedience. Can I just make the argument that many people marry the wrong person because they're afraid they won't find the right one? That many people will make a jump to whatever's easier because it's what's immediate. One of the things we have to understand about our walk with God is that God thinks in agricultural terms. It takes time. It takes doing the thing over many days correctly to get the right result. Some of you are athletic. You can take a good look at me and see that I'm not. But some of you are athletic, and you know this. You know the only way to become proficient athletically is not to go out in one afternoon and become proficient at whatever it is. It's to do it over the long haul and to continue to do right. It has something to do with your eating, I've heard. I don't really know what that would be, and then it also has something to do beyond nutrition. It has something to do with exercise, right? Now, most normal people, some of you aren't normal, but most normal people don't get that all fired excited about spinach, nutrition, and hard exercise. And in fact, in my life, most of the people that exercise spend more time moaning than the people that don't. Why? Because if you exercise, you hurt. So it seems counterintuitive that the way to get better is to deny myself things I want and hurt myself regularly. But that's what we call exercise proficiency. My point is this. In almost every case in the Bible where God is at work, he does things by, what I want you to do is wait for my first rain, then go rip up the soil. Yeah, then what? Then wait. Then I want you to drop seed in the soil. Yeah, then what? Then wait. And I want you to water the soil. Yeah, then what? Wait. So there's this long, protracted way that God does work. Do you understand why it's so much easier to sell unbelief? Do what you want, dump all the sugar in your body, deal with it now, and then how does the world compensate for unbelief? A set of pharmaceuticals that will quell the symptoms of whatever you did. Day after pills for gluttony. In other words, what we try to do is curb the symptom rather than solving the problem, because solving the problem requires a long-term view of life. So, When I look at verse 2, what I see is a smiley face. Yeah, it was only 11 days up to that place where we sent in the spies and then we could have walked in. That's not really how the story went. Let me tell you the story. And that's really what Deuteronomy does. It tells you the law, the stipulations of the law, set into a larger story of how 11 days turned into 40 years. Now, what's interesting is, often in the book, particularly in the first 4 chapters, but often in the book, Moses refers to himself as we. We did this. And I could give you a slew of verses, or I and you, or our time together, us. But then there are a couple of others that are like in 8:18, to this day. You have this phrase that gets dropped in. There seems to be a discussion that adds to the idea that there's an editor coming into this work. Why would the simple phrase, to this day, tell you that it's not Moses that's doing the final work on the book? It's obviously somebody much, much later, because Moses would not have said that. It would not have made sense to say, it is like that to this day, on the day that he's writing. Well, yeah, because it happened yesterday. Why wouldn't it be like that today? But obviously, so for instance, take a look in chapter 2 for a minute. Turn to chapter 2, verses 10 through 12, and listen to these verses with me. In verse 10, it says, if I can find it, let's see. I'll start back in verse 9. Then the Lord said to me, do not harass Moab, nor provoke them to war, nor will I will not give you any of the land as a possession, because I have given Ar to the sons of Lot as a possession. Verse 10. The Emim lived there formerly, a people as great and numerous and tall as the Anakim. Like the Anakim, they are also regarded as Rephaim, but the Moabites call them Emim. So you have this kind of wandering off and explaining there used to be this people, now there's this people, but this people calls the old people that. What is that about? Well, it may be prior to the time of Moses, but that seems unnatural to the reading. What it seems like is that there are some Anakim giants, there are some of the leftover second wave Nephilim that we talked about that are in the land of Hebron and the Hebron Plateau, and there's also some over in Transjordan over in the Moabite territory. In other words, this is a mopping up of a second wave of a Nephilim infiltration after the Noah incident. And the bottom line is all we have are these words about it. But my point about the words are they seem to be a drop-in or an insert to try and explain something. Whenever somebody puts a parentheses into a text and says, by the way, this is the way it used to be and now it's this way, it makes you feel like this is an editor trying to explain an original text after the fact. It looks like an editorial note. Now, you can't prove it from that, but you can go to chapter 3, verse 14, and you can see something that may suggest the same kind of thing. Yair, the son of Manasseh, took all the region of Argob as far as the border of the Geshurites and the Maachathites, and it is called, that is, Bashan, after his own name. Havot Yair, as it is to this day. So it sounds like Havot Yair is after they've settled the land and they've renamed things. Let me say it this way. One of the ways you see an editor's fingerprints in the narrative is this. They tend to update the names of places. Now, are there notes on the date of the work? Because you might want to know when this book was written. So let me give you a couple of just skipping across the top. Again, if you write down notes about the authorship and about the editors and about the date, here's where this helps you. You get into a Bible study and somebody says, yeah, well, my teacher in college told me that these things all came at the time of Hezekiah. No, some of them say they came from Moses. So what a person is saying when they say that is that the writing is no longer historically authentic. They're saying they disagree with the Bible. Newsflash, you're allowed. You want to disagree with the Bible, fine, but you cannot say it is the rule of faith and practice and it's historically legitimate, except for I only get to choose which verses are historically legitimate. You got to take a position on this thing. So by knowing Moses is stated in your notes in the beginning, that'll help you. But then you don't want to be that Sunday school Christian who came up with, Moses wrote it out and he put chapter 1, verse 1 and began writing. Because that's not how it works either. This thing is more complicated than that. Truth often is. Let's give you a little bit of a sketch of how things started. What we know for sure, the date of the Exodus is set because 1 Kings tells the story in 1 Kings 6 through 8 of the date of the beginning of the temple. And it tells you that God had started the temple, and it gives you a length of time since the Exodus from Egypt. And since we have a benchmark on the temple, we know how to count back to 430 years and get the time period for the Exodus. The Exodus, by that dating, is a 1446 BCE event. If you take the Bible literally, that is the date. Now, if that's the case, the internal record of the chronology from Egypt to Moab is a reconstruction that gets you to the date 1406 for Deuteronomy. So you might want to put down 1406, but now let me tell you how I got there so you don't just put it down and somebody goes, well, how'd you get that? I don't know, my teacher told me. That's not the answer, okay? First, you have inside the narrative that the people departed from Egypt on the 15th day of the first month as they walk out of Egypt, which we know to be the month of Nisan, and we know to be Nisan 15 in the year 1446, and that will be Exodus chapter 12. The dating of Exodus 12, the dating of we quit Egypt today, lock, stock, and bagels, out we go, that dating is given in Exodus chapter 12, verses 2 and verse 5. And in Numbers 33:3, we see the comparison of that date. So here's what I want you to know. The people got to the mountain of the law first 50 days later. That was Exodus 19. But beyond the Exodus 19 experience, we know that they got there, and it says Exodus 19 verse 1, 50 days later they come to the mountain of the law, and it gives you the date. It gives you the first day of the third month. So they left on the 15th day of the first month. They arrived 50 days later at the first day of the third month of year one of their journey out. That year then puts them there in the spring-summer of 1446. When they arrived at Mount Sinai, it was summertime. I can tell you about summer in Mount Sinai. The words boiling hot comes to mind. 134 in the broad daylight, then swoops down after the sun goes down, and it will drop 40 to 50 degrees inside of 2 hours. The reason is there's no cloud cover. So all the heat evacuates off the surface, which means you are absolutely blessed, hot all day, with an arc between about 90 when the sun's low in the sky, up to 135, back down to 90. And then when the sun evacuates, that 90 will drop to 50. So you are hot all day and freezing cold all night. In other words, it's an extreme environment. That'd be a fair way to say it, right? So in this extremity, they are there at the time the extremity of heat is coming on. They are at the base of Mount Sinai. Now, if you kept reading, you would make note that in Exodus 40, remember what's in Exodus 40? 25 to 40 is the section on what? The tabernacle. And by the time they're actually putting up and operating the tabernacle and God is inhabiting it, that is 9 months later. So they have been parked there for 9 months. I know that because Exodus 40:17 gives you a time. It says it was the first day of the first month of the second year. So they are now a year out of Egypt, and they spent 9 months parked at the bottom, and now they've got a tabernacle and it's operating. Now, just before they go to make preparations to leave, meanwhile, back up on the mountain, during that 9-month period, there's a 1-month interval where the tabernacle is getting finished, but there's still work to be done on the priesthood. And so for 1 month of that period of time, there's a time when in spring of 1445, when Moses is up on top of the mountain, and what he's doing is getting the book of Leviticus. And so when, in your opening chapter of Leviticus, we already told that story. But here's the important part. I know that in Numbers 1:1 and in Exodus 40:17, that they start to get the promised land vision, and they start to be told to get their act together in Numbers 1:1 in the spring of 1445. Now, Numbers opens with a census and says, all right, it's kind of the circle the wagons, we're getting ready for wagons ho. And for the first 10 chapters, there's preparation to get ready. That's the book of Numbers. But in Deuteronomy, they're going to start telling you the story later on. Deuteronomy is a story, as best I can tell you, that is set at the time of 1406, 1405, and it's set in the Transjordan, and it's set at the end of the 40th year of the journey. So if you've got 1446 starting the journey, fast forward 40 years, you get down to 1406, and that seems to be, it's January or February of 1406. They have now gone through the whole 40 years of what should have taken them 11 days, and instead they are now standing overlooking the promised land. There's a lot more that could be said about that, but what's important is this. We know that Aaron died, according to Numbers 33:38, in the 40th year of the journey. We know that Deuteronomy is largely dispensed during that year. And if you read carefully the book of Numbers, you will find that the laws that were given during that time match the Deuteronomic law as they're preparing to go in the land. Okay, lots of words. So what's in the book? What's the book about? We have a book that's created in 1406, written by Moses. We have the parting counsels of Moses. We've called it what kind of law? What code of law is it? It is constitutional code. In other words, it's focused on how God wants moral judgment to be worked out in the frame of a national testimony. How does he want people to know him during the time of the Hebrew Scriptures? He wants them to know him primarily by the moral code that's reflected in the constitution of what makes a Jew a Jew. And so what's important is that the land of promise was unconditionally given to Abraham and to his seed in Genesis 13:15 and in Genesis 15:7, as well as other places. The land was given to him to them in title. However, the domicile, the occupation of the land, they have the title to the land, but living in the land is dependent upon their obedience, right? So the domicile covenants are specified in constitutional code of law. Specifically, when you get to the end of the code, in Deuteronomy 28, 29, 30, you're going to start seeing the conditional covenant. The condition of the covenant is obey and you get the land, disobey and I will kick the stuffings out of you. Like Leviticus 26 said in detail, the Levitical code is again reminded at the end of the Deuteronomic constitutional code, and it says, do what I'm telling you to do and you'll have life, peace, prosperity, longevity. You will have all of the things that you need and you will be a testimony for me to the world. But in contradistinction, don't do what I told you to do and I'll send you all the way out into the world, and then I will restore you. When your heart is broken, I will bring you back. I will call you from all corners of the world, and I'll bring you back. Restoration is in every one of the conditional covenant statements. You will not find that people talk about it when it says, yeah, you either do this or I'll kick you out, and they leave the story there. God never did. He always said, and then I'll find you and bring you back. You will find it in Leviticus 26. You will find it again in Deuteronomy when we pick up and look at Deuteronomy. Okay, so what's important is the rest of the Hebrew Scriptures tell you the story of exactly the prophetic truth of Moses' mouth. The reason that they recognize no prophet like Moses had come is because Moses was prophetic. He said, here's how it's going to go. You're going to disagree with my law and disobey my law, and then your land is going to be disrupted. And 1 Kings tells the story of how they did exactly that. And by chapter 12, the country breaks up and they're at each other's throat. But then he says, if you continue to behave like that, I'm going to cast you out of the land. And 2 Kings tells the story of how they begin to be cast out of the land, and they end up, by the end of the period of the Hebrew Scriptures, off in foreign lands. But the same covenant that said, if you disobey, you'll be removed, also said you'll be restored. What's interesting is that you will find, if you look carefully at the covenant of the domicile, it ends in the complete, full heart restoration of the people, which I would argue hasn't happened yet. People can say, well, they came back from Babylon. Yes, but included in it is I will put a new heart within you, and you will live the truth. I see no record that that's how they behaved. In fact, I see another record of another stumble. I see another record of self-willed, self-minded people that end up back in another national catastrophe under Rome and are again dispersed out into the nations. And it's interesting that in the domicile agreements that we're going to read about in Deuteronomy, you find that the people are in every part of the earth, not in Babylon, but in every part of the earth, not in Rome, but in every part of the earth. You can make a much easier case for the Roman diaspora and the dispersion of the Jews than you can that the Assyrians and Babylonians is what he's talking about. Because they weren't in every part of the earth. They were in one part of the earth. So all I'm saying to you is the promise is unmovable. Abraham was asleep. That land is titled to Israel in perpetuity, not because of who they are or how they perform, but because God said so. But behind that promise is you don't get to have the keys to the car that's titled to you unless you do what I say. In fact, let me just be prophetic, you're not going to do what I say. And I'm going to take those keys from you, and I'm going to kick the stuffings out of you. And if you remember in Leviticus, it was 7 times, 7 times, 7 times, 7 times, 7 times, setting up the reason why the tribulation period is drawn out that way in Revelation chapters 6 through 19. The important thing is this. Although they were told they would lose the land, they were always told they would get it back. And so we should look for that. All right, let's get into a little bit of the nuts and bolts of the book. First, in the first 4 chapters of the book, I want you to understand that the book of Deuteronomy, in its original form, was actually a series of speeches. The speeches themselves start with a preamble and move to a prologue of the faithfulness of a king. And in chapters 1 through 4 match this treaty style. Now, let me tell you what's going on here. The boxes reflect the overall picture of the projection of how the book is working. But the treaties, there was a treaty style called a suzerainty treaty that was very common early on during the Hittite kingdom and forward. And what you have is a treaty between a lord and some vassals. This is a great lord, a great emperor, if you will, has a treaty with various vassals. And that treaty always was set up in 5 parts. The first part of every suzerainty treaty was a preamble. The second part of it was a prologue that gave you some of the conditions under which the king had shown himself faithful, and the faithfulness of the king is celebrated. The third part of a suzerainty treaty that comes contemporary from the time of Moses and the time before Moses and the time of Abraham was that a series of stipulations are put in that treaty. That is, these are the conditions. All right. I want to say that we have a great king. I want to say that we have a great covenant together. Let me tell you about the faithfulness of our king and how wonderful he is. Then the third part was always, here are the conditions under which the king will continue to be our guardian. This is the way a suzerainty treaty reads. Then we have the penalties and rewards. Here's what happens if we don't follow that king and we don't follow after his rewards. Here's what happens if we do. Here are the blessings we get if we do. And then finally, here's how legally there's a succession right that we are to acknowledge after the one who is giving us the message of the king. How do we then move to a succession right to the next one? This is a suzerainty treaty. It's a common treaty from the period of Abraham to the period of Moses, and they come from the period around the Hittite time and forward. And what's important for you to know is that the ending structure of Deuteronomy appears by many scholars to be a treaty that matches this idea. Okay? Don't lose your, sleep over, how exactly this works. What I'm saying is whenever it was edited to its final form, it appears to be edited to a final form of a covenant treaty. That's why we call this kind of literature legal code and covenant treaty. The constitutional code comes as a covenant treaty between a lord and his vassals. But the Lord in this case is the Lord of heaven. Now, what I want you to understand is it's given in a series of speeches. So in chapter 1 through 443, it's kind of like a singular speech. Let me give it to you another way. What's called by scholars the 5 speeches, to me, is actually 5 times Moses sits down and gathers the work into a single scroll. So we could call this a scroll or a speech. Then there's a really long one, 444 to 26:19, is the second speech or the second scroll. And that's the one that has all the stipulations. What we will call the 15 codes of law show up there. That is, I'm going to give you articles 1 through 15 of a legal document that looks like a constitution and reads like a constitution, with a few case studies dropped in. There's a couple of varying verses, but basically that's the line of thinking. Then there's a section on what happens, and this section becomes what we often refer to as the Palestinian covenant. I don't like that terminology because I think it's preloaded with some modern historical interpretation. But what I'm going to call the domicile covenant. How do you get to live there? And what are the stipulations going to yield in terms of penalties and rewards? And you'll see that in 27 through 30. And that's your third speech. Then succession rights become your fourth speech, and that's 31 and 32. And then finally, the fifth one has to do with blessings that come with the death of Moses, what happened as a result of one who was so great and led us. So you've got these 5 speeches or 5 scrolls that look like organization. Clearly the last part seems to me to be edited later, but I would say the final form of this is either set up to look like this covenant treaty, or it's set up to look like it based on original scroll materials that are behind it, and that's what you're seeing. Don't worry so much about this, but just be conversant to know what the story is. Because what I want you to see is what's up here. The boxes are what mean everything to me. And in the first 4 chapters, I want you to see that the whole thing is a review of the journey. Why is that an important factor? Well, let me suggest to you there's a formula behind the book. And the formula is the walk is going to be the first part of our formula, meaning a review of the journey and how we got to where we are and who we are and who's included in this. Plus, in verses 5 to 26, there's a whole set of statements of the 15 articles of law. Those are the articles, but I'm going to say the walk plus obedience, or lack thereof. This is the formula, plus the third section of the book, which is the constitutional affirming, the affirmation. It's the covenant that the people gave. Let me add a third word up here. Let me add loyalty. That is, that not only is this book going to tell us the walk, but the walk plus the articles that we are to obey, plus the loyalty that we are to affirm. And when we get to that point, what we should do is arrive at the blessings, and these are the last words. I'm going to use the word benefits. Let me say it this way. Behind the book is this formula. That is, that the walk of the believers together in obedience, when we add that to it, with loyalty to the King who got us here, will equal the benefits we're supposed to get. Let me say that this is the formula that is opposite of the formula of the book of Judges. The book of Judges is, when every man does that which is right in his own eyes, we end up in a mess. And it starts off with a political and spiritual fragmentation that ends up in a total mess by the end of the book. This book sort of gets better. It starts off with a bunch of people that's a rabble in the desert and the heat and the cold, and starts off with God giving them stipulations and teaching them. There are some remarkable parts of this book and some things I want you to look at when you see this book that I think actually helped me a great deal. And one of them, I think, is when you get down to the part of the book that deals specifically with the benefits. So what I'd like you to do is uncharacteristically, let's open our Bible to look at the Bible and go back to toward the end of the story. Let's go to the last part of chapter 29 of Deuteronomy, just by way of introduction to the book to help us understand something. Because it's going to help us with Numbers, it's going to help us with Galatians, it's going to help us with what we read in Hebrews. There is a mythology that Christians possess that the law was impossible to keep. The law was not impossible to keep. Believe it or not, it's actually possible for you to walk through life and not lie. It's possible for you to walk through life and not steal. I didn't say it wasn't hard. I said it's possible. Have any of you gotten to this point of the day and haven't told a lie yet? Many of you. Wow, you've gotten several hours and you haven't told a lie. Have any of you gotten to this point, have most of you gotten to this point in the day and you haven't stolen anything yet today? Okay, don't give me the idea that the law was this mountain that was too high for anyone to climb. That's not what it says. Follow me in 29:29. Put a box around 29:29 because it's an important key verse to what God is going to say. He says, the secret things belong to the Lord our God. That is, there are unrevealed truths in the universe. Does anybody have trouble believing there are unrevealed truths in the universe? One of them is like, how my wife thinks and things like that. Okay? There are deep thoughts. But he said, seriously, he says, but the things revealed belong to us and our sons forever. That is, the believer, the one who's walking with God, gets more truth on which to base their life than the unbeliever. The unbeliever walks through life with blinders on because they have chosen not to believe what God has said. You do not get the blessing of God until you believe that he is, and that he is the one who is the rewarder of those who diligently seek him. Let me add a layer to that. The level to which you get that depth is the level to which you seek him. And it's not just academic, although the part of it is academic. You have to read it, you have to know it. But the other part is you have to believe it. So in verse 29, he says there are two standards for what people know. There are secret things that belong to the Lord, but those who want to know the secrets of God, those who want to have them exposed, are those that are his sons. And he says, and the purpose of them is so that we can run around telling the rest of the world what they don't know. No. What does the end of the verse say? What is the purpose of knowing God's secrets? That we would obey, observe, that we would do them. In other words, the end of biblical knowledge is lifestyle. The end of biblical knowledge is shoe leather. It's not the ability to argue apologetics better. It's the ability to live better so that people listen to your argument. So he says, the secret things belong to the Lord, but the things revealed belong to us and our sons forever. That is, those who are following after God will actually, in fact, get that truth, and then it will produce that we may observe all the words of this law. Now, if it's impossible to observe all the words of this law, then it's a fool's errand to begin with. But I want you to go a little bit further. Notice the details of the domicile arrangement. Put in there somewhere that this is not about whether God will still love the Jewish people. He will love the Jewish people. This is not about whether he will finish the program that he gave to Abraham. He will finish the program. This is about what's going to happen to them in the program and how you're going to know they're getting through it. Okay? So in verse 1 it says, on that basis, so it shall be, when all of these things have come upon you, the blessing and the curse which I have set before you, and you call them to mind in all nations where the Lord your God has banished you, that is, so when you fail at doing this, and he kind of opens up with a kind of a low note, by the way, when you find yourself the last team on the list of teams for win-loss, when you find yourself at the bottom, would you remember this? When that has happened, verse 2, and you return to the Lord your God and obey him with all your heart and soul according to all that I command you today and your sons, then, so when you fail, plus then you repent, equals then at that point, the Lord your God will restore you from captivity and have compassion on you and will gather you again from all the peoples where the Lord your God has scattered you. The Jewish people in their scattering is not a factor of Rome, Babylon, or Assyria. It's a factor of God's using those countries to scatter Jewish people around the world. God says, I'm the one who scatters you when you don't listen. Then it says in verse 4, if your outcasts are at the ends of the earth, look at that. It doesn't say Babylon. If your outcasts are all the way at the ends of the earth, from there the Lord your God will gather you. From there he will bring you back. But look what happens. The Lord your God will bring you into the land which your fathers possessed, and you shall possess it. He will prosper you and multiply you. But that doesn't answer the whole problem, because moreover, or in addition to, or can I say later, after that, the Lord your God will circumcise your heart and the heart of your descendants, to love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, that you might live. And at that time, as he's gathering you in, as he's changing your heart, verse 7, the Lord your God will inflict these curses on your enemies and on those who hate you, who persecuted you. And you shall obey the Lord and observe all his commandments, which I command you today. So he says, what's coming is a defection. What's coming from that defection is a dispersion. What's coming from that dispersion is a captivity. What's coming from that captivity is a repentance. What's coming from that repentance is the beginning of the memories that God had a land for us, and they begin to return to that land. What comes out of that is I begin to then prosper you, not because you have the right heart yet, that comes 2 verses later, but because I've decided to prosper you, because the kindness of the Lord leads us to repentance. And then all of a sudden I turn my eyes on the world and I begin to curse them. And what he doesn't say here, but later prophets will insert, is then they will blame you for what I do to them. The rising of anti-Semitic tradition. Every time Jews do better, the world will hate them for it. And as a result, he says, I will bring you in, and then eventually I will change your heart and all of you will obey me. There's a restoration in the domicile agreement. Everyone in the Christian church talks about how God said, if you don't obey, I'll throw you out. But they never point out that Leviticus 26, and again here in chapter 30 of Deuteronomy, God never says, I'll throw you out with, and then you will return. He always says that. He always has restoration at the end. And then he says, verse 9, then the Lord your God will prosper you abundantly in all the work of your hand, in the offspring of your body, the offspring of your cattle, the produce of your ground. For the Lord will again rejoice over you for good, just as he rejoiced over your fathers, if you obey the Lord your God to keep his commandments and his statutes, which are written in this book. If you turn to the Lord your God with all your heart and soul. Now watch very closely in verse 11. For this commandment, which I command to you today, it is not too difficult for you. It is not out of reach. Galatians 5:3 doesn't say it's impossible to keep the law. People walk around in Sunday school classes and adult Bible fellowships and Bible studies and act like God made a law that was too hard for anybody to keep. The problem is that's not what he says. He says it's possible for you to do what I want you to do. Why? Because the law not only includes don't lie, it includes mishpatim, or judgments as to how to recover when you do. The law is not an absolute be perfect. The law includes be perfect, and you're not gonna, so here's what to do when you're not. There's an atonement law because he knew they were not going to, because the sin nature makes it impossible for you to be perfect. Please get out of your mind the Christian statement that if I kept all the laws, I'd be perfect. When I say I haven't made these laws too difficult for you, they include the body of law as to how to deal with the fact that the sin nature will constantly manifest itself. Does that make sense? So from the beginning, God never expected perfection. He expected allegiance. What's the difference? Believers, what's the difference? Does he expect you to walk every day with perfection? He expects you to walk with him, not just his rules. He wants you to care about when you've offended him. Not simply walk along like doing the wrong thing is okay with him. God doesn't get out of his chair upset with you until you decide that wrong is really right, right is really wrong, and you can live that way and you're perfectly comfortable with it. As long as you are inflicted with the guilt and you go back to conviction, and that conviction leads you to change, that's what we call a walk with God. Or in other words, in my vocabulary, I call it Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday. So when you get down here, look at verse 12. It is not in heaven that you should say, who will go up to heaven to get it for us and make us hear it, that we may observe it? I want you to write next to that verse 12, Luke 16. There's a simple story of the rich man and Lazarus. Do you remember the story? What's the story of the rich man and Lazarus? Who can tell me the story?
It's where the rich man dies.
Rich man dies. Lazarus has been doing what while the rich man was alive?
He was laying outside the gate.
He's laying outside the gate. He's not doing well. He's a poor guy.
Rich man doesn't help him.
They both die. Okay, and in the story, there are these two places. One is a place of comfort. The other one is a place of affliction. And there's a gulf fixed between them. And who can see who in this? Apparently they can see each other and even speak back and forth across the gulf. But in this scenario of the parable in Luke 16, what does the rich man want? What's the point of the parable?
He wants the poor man to go back and warn his brothers.
And what does Jesus say concerning the point of having somebody, the poor man? See, he still sees the poor man as serving his ends. That's one of the problems. Because it's so deeply enrooted in his life that he still thinks that poor man owes him to do something for him. But go beyond that. He cares about his brothers, right? He's a rich man, but he's not cold-hearted toward his family. What does he want him to do? Go back from the dead and speak for him. And what's the point of the narrative? What does Jesus say that closes Luke 16's parable? They have the law and the prophets. They don't need somebody back from the dead. They don't need somebody from heaven. They don't need somebody to skywrite. If they will not accept the word of Moses and they will not accept that which they have learned from their youth, if the word of God isn't enough, then they can come back from the dead and yet they will not believe. And Jesus could confidently say that. And then he got up from the tomb later on and he came back from the dead and still they did not believe. Why? Because he said right here exactly what Moses had said. It's not for heaven to do that. It's not for heaven to do that. Now, what's interesting is how the rabbis took that verse 12. The rabbis at the time of Jesus took that verse to say it's not up to heaven to decide. They actually took that verse to say it's up to the majority of the rabbis to decide. It is not for the heavens to decide, and they get that from here. That is exactly the opposite of what Jesus was trying to say in Luke 16 and what Moses was trying to say in verse 12. He's not trying to say heaven isn't involved in it. He's saying heaven said everything it needs to say. You can believe it or doubt. God isn't in the business of bargaining you into heaven. That's not what he's doing. He's not in the business of bargaining you into obedience. I think there's an awful lot of people in our culture who unfortunately grew up in the post-Dr. Spock era where all parents have to explain all rules to their children. God says, I'm God, deal with it. This is what I want you to do. And since I'm God, deal with it. And by the way, I don't have to convince you, but I'm going to tell you that if you do it, life is going to go better for you. Deal with it. And he said, I didn't make it too hard for you because I put in there a system for you to deal with all of the problems of your own heart. But then he says, I want you to understand, don't be going to heaven trying to get something more than I already gave you. Then go to verse 13. Don't go beyond the sea, that you should say, who will cross the sea for us to get it for us and make us hear it that we may observe it? But the word is very near you, in your mouth, in your heart, that you may observe it. He says in verse 14, the thing that I've been saying about the Christian life as long as I've walked in it. The problem isn't what I don't know. The problem is I don't do what I do know. How about you? The problem isn't that I need some new seminar to teach me a new way to look at the Bible. The problem is I need to do the things the Bible says and I don't want to. And not specifically just doing right, but remedying when I do wrong. But coming back in conviction and change when I do wrong. So there's a great story here. Now go down to verse 15 because I want to finish this up. See, I have set before you today What did I set before you? Hard things? No, life, prosperity, also death and adversity. In that I command you today to love the Lord your God, to walk in his ways, keep his commandments, his statutes, and his mishpatim, his judgments, his fixes for when you don't, that you may live and multiply, that the Lord your God may bless you in the land you are entering in. But if your heart turns away, you will not obey. You are drawn into worship other gods and serve them. I declare to you today that you shall surely perish. You will not prolong your days in the land that you are living, where you are crossing the Jordan to enter and possess it. I call heaven and earth to witness against you today that I have set before you life and death, blessing and curse. Choose life in order that you may live, you and your descendants, by loving the Lord your God, by obeying his voice, by holding fast to him. Would you please understand that each part of verse 20 modifies the other part? In other words, you can tell me you love the Lord your God with all your heart, but that should include obedience. Why do you call me Lord and not do the things that I say? Jesus said. But that obedience isn't enough. God's word isn't only effectively lived by those who do everything right, or there would be precious few who are living God's truth. The fact of the matter is I've never met anybody who pulled it off. So the third phrase modifies the second. The third one is, and that you would hold fast to him. The point is, hold fast to me. In your attempts at obedience, make it holding fast not to your obedience or your ability, but holding fast to me. And the length of your days that you may live in the land which the Lord swore to your fathers, to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, to give them. Do you notice that the end of this is that it's all about the length of your days to live in the land? It's about domicile. What he's saying is there is an unbreakable covenant of God with the children of Abraham. He will love them, he will care for them, but they will not get what he intends them to have if they will not hold fast to him. They will be broken away, scattered abroad, go through pain, and then be gathered up until they're ready to open their heart. There is no end point tragedy here, except for verse 2 of chapter 31. I'm 120 years old today. I'm no longer able to come and go. Moses goes, look, I got to get this over with. This preaching has been fun and all, but I'm 120 and I need to quit. So you end the book with a sense that God has laid out again these incredible blessings that come, or benefits that come. And that's what I want you to see the book as. Chapters 1 to 4, this is the review of the walk, to remind you that the law is always set in the walk of life. Then there's 15 codes of law. This is the standards of obedience so that you'll understand what is the mark you're shooting at. If we don't give you any rules, you're going to say, well, I'm doing okay because you don't have any rules. But when you know what the rules are, you can benchmark whether or not you need conviction and change, or whether or not you're doing fine. And he says, so the walk plus obedience. And then there's an affirmation of the loyalty to the covenant so that you understand that your loyalty is not just to a standard of law, but to a grasping of the hand of God. As he holds you, you hold him back and say, I want to walk with you. And how does that end? That ends with a 120-year-old guy who goes, you know, I'm tired, but this has been a great ride. It ends with the blessings of obedience.
book of Nehemiah, chapter 1. The words of Nehemiah, the son of Hakaliah. And it came to pass in the month of Chislew, in the 20th year, as I was in Shushan the palace, that Hanani, one of my brethren, came, he and certain men of Judah, and I asked them concerning the Jews that had escaped, which were left of the captivity, and concerning Jerusalem. And they said unto me, The remnant that are left of the captivity there in the province are in great affliction and reproach. The wall of Jerusalem also is broken down, and the gates thereof are burned with fire. And it came to pass, when I heard these words, that I sat down and wept, and mourned certain days, and fasted, and prayed before the God of heaven, and said, I beseech thee, O Lord God of heaven, the great and terrible God, that keepeth covenant and mercy for them that love him, and observe his commandments, let thine ear now be attentive, and thine eyes open, that thou mayest hear the prayer of thy servant, which I pray before thee now, day and night, for the children of Israel thy servants, and confess the sins of the children of Israel, which we have sinned against thee. Both I and my father's house have sinned. We have dealt very corruptly against thee, and have not kept the commandments, nor the statutes, nor the judgments which thou commandest thy servant Moses. Remember, I beseech thee, the word that thou commandest thy servant Moses, saying, If ye transgress, I will scatter you abroad among the nations. But if ye turn unto me, and keep my commandments, and do them, though there were of you cast out unto the uttermost part of the heaven, yet will I gather them from thence, and will bring them unto the place that I have chosen to set my name there. Now these are thy servants and thy people, whom thou hast redeemed by thy great power, and by thy strong hand. O Lord, I beseech thee, let now thine ear be attentive to the prayer of thy servant, and to the prayer of thy servants, who desire to fear thy name and prosper, I pray thee, thy servant this day, and grant him mercy in the sight of this man, for I was the king's cupbearer. Nehemiah 2. And it came to pass in the month Nisan, in the 20th year of Artaxerxes the king, that wine was before him. And I took up the wine, and gave it unto the king. Now I had not been beforetime sad in his presence. Wherefore the king said unto me, Why is thy countenance sad, seeing thou art not sick? This is nothing else but sorrow of heart. Then I was very sore afraid, and said unto the king, Let the king live for ever. Why should not my countenance be sad, when the city, the place of my father's sepulchres, lieth waste, and the gates thereof are consumed with fire? Then the king said unto me, For what dost thou make request? So I prayed to the God of heaven, and I said unto the king, If it please the king, if thy servant have found favor in thy sight, that thou wouldst send me unto Judah, unto the city of my father's sepulchres, that I may build it. And the king said unto me, the queen also sitting by him, For how long shall thy journey be? And when wilt thou return? So it pleased the king to send me. And I set him a time. Moreover I said unto the king, If it please the king, let letters be given me to the governors beyond the river, that they may convey me over till I come into Judah. And a letter unto Asaph, the keeper of the king's forest, that he may give me timber to make beams for the gates of the palace, which appertained to the house, and for the wall of the city, and for the house that I shall enter into. And the king granted me, according to the good hand of my God upon me. Then I came to the governors beyond the river, and gave them the king's letters. Now the king had sent captains of the army and horsemen with me. When Sanballat the Horonite, and Tobiah the servant the Ammonite, heard of it, it grieved them exceedingly that there was come a man to seek the welfare of the children of Israel. So I came to Jerusalem, and was there 3 days. And I arose in the night, I and some few men with me, neither told I any man what my God had put in my heart to do at Jerusalem, neither was there any beast with me, save the beast that I rode upon. And I went out by night by the gate of the valley, even before the dragon well, and to the dung port, and viewed the walls of Jerusalem, which were broken down, and the gates thereof were consumed with fire. Then I went on to the gate of the fountain, and to the king's pool. but there was no place for the beast that was under me to pass. Then went I up in the night by the brook, and viewed the wall, and turned back, and entered by the gate of the valley, and so returned. And the rulers knew not whither I went, or what I did. Neither had I as yet told it to the Jews, nor to the priests, nor to the nobles, nor to the rulers, nor to the rest that did the work. Then said I unto them, Ye see the distress that we are in, how Jerusalem lieth waste, and the gates thereof are burned with fire. Come, and let us build up the wall of Jerusalem, that we be no more a reproach. Then I told them of the hand of my God which was good upon me, as also the king's words that he had spoken unto me. And they said, Let us rise up and build. So they strengthened their hands for this good work. But when Sanballat the Horonite, and Tobiah the servant, the Ammonite, and Geshem the Arabian heard it, they laughed us to scorn, and despised us, and said, What is this thing that ye do? Will ye rebel against the king? Then answered I them, and said unto them, The God of heaven, he will prosper us. Therefore we his servants will arise and build. But ye have no portion, nor right, nor memorial in Jerusalem. Nehemiah 3. Then Eliashib the high priest rose up with his brethren the priests, and they builded the sheep gate. They sanctified it, and set up the doors of it, even unto the tower of Meah they sanctified it, unto the tower of Hananiel. And next unto him builded the men of Jericho, and next to them builded Zaccur the son of Imri. But the fish gate did the sons of Hasanaah build, who also laid the beams thereof, and set up the doors thereof, the locks thereof, and the bars thereof. And next unto them repaired Meremoth the son of Urijah the son of Koz. And next unto them repaired Meshullam the son of Berechiah, the son of Meshezabeel. And next unto them repaired Zadok the son of Bana. And next unto them the Tekoites repaired. But their nobles put not their necks to the work of their lord. Moreover the old gate repaired Jehoiada the son of Paseah, and Meshullam the son of Besadeiah. They laid the beams thereof, and set up the doors thereof, and the locks thereof, and the bars thereof. And next unto them repaired Melatiah the Gibeonite, and Jadon the Meronothite, the men of Gibeon and of Mizpah, unto the throne of the governor on this side the river. Next unto him repaired Uzziel the son of Harahiah of the goldsmiths. Next unto him also repaired Hananiah the son of one of the apothecaries. And they fortified Jerusalem unto the broad wall. And next unto them repaired Rephaiah the son of Hur, the ruler of the half part of Jerusalem. And next unto them repaired Jedaiah the son of Heramoth, even over against his house. And next unto him repaired Hattush the son of Hashabniah. Malchijah the son of Harim, and Hashub the son of Pahath-Moab repaired the other piece, and the tower of the furnaces. And next unto him repaired Shallum the son of Halahesh, the ruler of the half part of Jerusalem, he and his daughters. The valley gate repaired Hanan, and the inhabitants of Zanoah, they built it, and set up the doors thereof, the locks thereof, and the bars thereof, and 1,000 cubits on the wall unto the dung gate. But the dung gate repaired Malchiah the son of Rechab, the ruler of part of Beth Hasserim. He built it, and set up the doors thereof, the locks thereof, and the bars thereof. But the gate of the fountain repaired Shallun the son of Kol-Hoseh, the ruler of part of Mizpah. He built it, and covered it, and set up the doors thereof, the locks thereof, and the bars thereof, and the wall of the pool of Siloah by the king's garden, and unto the stairs that go down from the city of David. After him repaired Nehemiah the son of Azbuk, the ruler of the half part of Bethzur, unto the place over against the sepulchres of David, and to the pool that was made, and unto the house of the mighty. After him repaired the Levites, Rehum the son of Bani. Next unto him repaired Hashabiah, the ruler of the half part of Keilah, in his part. After him repaired their brethren, Babai the son of Henadad, the ruler of the half part of Keilah. And next to him repaired Ezer the son of Jeshua, the ruler of Mizpah, another piece over against the going up to the armory at the turning of the wall. After him Baruch the son of Zabbai earnestly repaired the other piece. from the turning of the wall unto the door of the house of Eliashib the high priest. After him repaired Meremoth the son of Urijah, the son of Koz, another piece, from the door of the house of Eliashib even to the end of the house of Eliashib. And after him repaired the priests, the men of the plain. After him repaired Benjamin and Hushab over against their house. After him repaired Azariah the son of Maaseiah the son of Ananiah by his house. After him repaired Binnui the son of Henadad, another piece, from the house of Azariah unto the turning of the wall, even unto the corner. Palal the son of Uzai over against the turning of the wall, and the tower which lieth out from the king's high house, that was by the court of the prison. After him Pedaiah the son of Parosh. Moreover the Nethinims dwelt in Ophel unto the place over against the water gate toward the east, and the tower that lieth out. After them the Tekoites repaired another piece, over against the great tower that lieth out, even unto the wall of Ophel. From above the horse gate repaired the priests, every one over against his house. After them repaired Zadok the son of Immer over against his house. After him repaired also Shemaiah the son of Shechaniah, the keeper of the east gate. After him repaired Hananiah the son of Shelemiah, and Hanun the sixth son of Zalaph, another piece. After him repaired Meshullam the son of Berechiah over against his chamber. After him repaired Malchiah, the goldsmith's son, unto the place of the Nethinims, and of the merchants, over against the gate Mifkad, and to the going up of the corner, and between the going up of the corner unto the sheep gate repaired the goldsmiths and the merchants. Nehemiah 4. But it came to pass that when Sanballat heard that we builded the wall, he was wroth, and took great indignation, and mocked the Jews. And he spake before his brethren and the army of Samaria, and said, What do these feeble Jews? Will they fortify themselves? Will they sacrifice? Will they make an end in a day? Will they revive the stones out of the heaps of the rubbish which are burned? Now Tobiah the Ammonite was by him, and he said, Even that which they build, if a fox go up, he shall even break down their stone wall. Hear, O our God, for we are despised, and turn their reproach upon their own head, and give them for a prey in the land of captivity. And cover not their iniquity, and let not their sin be blotted out from before thee. For they have provoked thee to anger before the builders. So built we the wall, and all the wall was joined together unto the half thereof, for the people had a mind to work. But it came to pass that when Sanballat and Tobiah and the Arabians and the Ammonites and the Ashdodites heard that the walls of Jerusalem were made up, and that the breaches began to be stopped, then they were very wroth, and conspired all of them together to come and to fight against Jerusalem and to hinder it. Nevertheless we made our prayer unto our God, and set a watch against them day and night because of them. And Judah said, The strength of the bearers of burdens is decayed, and there is much rubbish, so that we are not able to build the wall. And our adversaries said, They shall not know, neither see, till we come in the midst among them, and slay them, and cause the work to cease. And it came to pass, that when the Jews which dwelt by them came, they said unto us 10 times, From all places whence ye shall return unto us, they will be upon you. Therefore said I in the lower places behind the wall, and on the higher places, I even set the people after their families with their swords, their spears, and their bows. And I looked, and rose up, and said unto the nobles, and to the rulers, and to the rest of the people, Be not ye afraid of them. Remember the Lord, which is great and terrible, and fight for your brethren, your sons and your daughters, your wives and your houses. And it came to pass, when our enemies heard that it was known unto us, and God had brought their counsel to naught, that we returned all of us to the wall, every one unto his work. And it came to pass from that time forth, that the half of my servants wrought in the work, and the other half of them held both the spears, the shields, and the bows, and the habergeons, and the rulers were behind all the house of Judah. They which builded on the wall, and they that bare burdens, with those that laded, every one with one of his hands wrought in the work, and with the other hand held a weapon. For the builders every one had his sword girded by his side, and so builded. And he that sounded the trumpet was by me. And I said unto the nobles, and to the rulers, and to the rest of the people, The work is great and large, and we are separated upon the wall, one far from another. In what place therefore ye hear the sound of the trumpet, resort ye thither unto us, our God shall fight for us. So we labored in the work, and half of them held the spears from the rising of the morning till the stars appeared. Likewise, at the same time said I unto the people, Let every one with his servant lodge within Jerusalem, that in the night they may be a guard to us, and labor on the day. So neither I, nor my brethren, nor my servants, nor the men of the guard which followed me, none of us put off our clothes, saving that every one put them off for washing. Nehemiah 5. And there was a great cry of the people and of their wives against their brethren the Jews. For there were that said, We, our sons, and our daughters are many. Therefore we take up corn for them, that we may eat and live. Some also there were that said, We have mortgaged our lands, vineyards, and houses, that we might buy corn because of the dearth. There were also that said, We have borrowed money for the king's tribute, and that upon our lands and vineyards. Yet now our flesh is as the flesh of our brethren, our children as their children, and lo, we bring into bondage our sons and our daughters to be servants, and some of our daughters are brought into bondage already. Neither is it in our power to redeem them, for other men have our lands and vineyards. And I was very angry when I heard their cry and these words. Then I consulted with myself, and I rebuked the nobles and the rulers, and said unto them, Ye exact usury, every one of his brother. And I set a great assembly against them. And I said unto them, We, after our ability, have redeemed our brethren the Jews, which were sold unto the heathen. And will ye even sell your brethren, or shall they be sold unto us? Then held they their peace, and found nothing to answer. Also I said, It is not good that ye do. Ought ye not to walk in the fear of our God because of the reproach of the heathen our enemies? I likewise, and my brethren, and my servants might exact of them money and corn. I pray you, let us leave off this usury. Restore, I pray you, to them, even this day, their lands, their vineyards, their oliveyards, and their houses, also the 100th part of the money, and of the corn, the wine, and the oil, that ye exact of them. Then said they, We will restore them, and will require nothing of them. So will we do as thou sayest. Then I called the priests, and took an oath of them, that they should do according to this promise. Also I shook my lap, and said, So God shake out every man from his house, and from his labor, that performeth not this promise, even thus be he shaken out and emptied. And all the congregation said, Amen, and praised the Lord. And the people did according to this promise. Moreover, from the time that I was appointed to be their governor in the land of Judah, from the 20th year even unto the 32nd year of Artaxerxes the king, that is, 12 years, I and my brethren have not eaten the bread of the governor. But the former governors that had been before me were chargeable unto the people, and had taken of them bread and wine, beside 40 shekels of silver, yea, even their servants bare rule over the people. But so did not I, because of the fear of God. Yea, also I continued in the work of this wall. Neither bought we any land, and all my servants were gathered thither unto the work. Moreover, there were at my table 150 of the Jews and rulers, beside those that came unto us from among the heathen that are about us. Now that which was prepared for me daily was 1 ox, and 6 choice sheep. Also fowls were prepared for me, and once in 10 days store of all sorts of wine. Yet for all this required not I the bread of the governor, because the bondage was heavy upon this people. Think upon me, my God, for good, according to all that I have done for this people. Nehemiah 6. Now it came to pass, when Sanballat and Tobiah, and Geshem the Arabian, and the rest of our enemies, heard that I had builded the wall, and that there was no breach left therein, though at that time I had not set up the doors upon the gates, that Sanballat and Geshem sent unto me, saying, Come, let us meet together in some one of the villages in the plain of Ono. But they thought to do me mischief. And I sent messengers unto them, saying, I am doing a great work, so that I cannot come down. Why should the work cease, whilst I leave it, and come down to you? Yet they sent unto me 4 times after this sort, and I answered them after the same manner. Then sent Sanballat his servant unto me in like manner the 5th time, with an open letter in his hand, wherein was written, It is reported among the heathen, and Gashmu saith it, that thou and the Jews think to rebel, for which cause thou buildest the wall, that thou mayest be their king, according to these words. And thou hast also appointed prophets to preach of thee at Jerusalem, saying, There is a king in Judah. And now shall it be reported to the king according to these words. Come now therefore, and let us take counsel together. Then I sent unto him, saying, There are no such things done as thou sayest, but thou feignest them out of thine own heart. For they all made us afraid, saying, Their hands shall be weakened from the work, that it be not done. Now therefore, God, strengthen my hands. Afterward I came unto the house of Shemaiah the son of Delaiah, the son of Mehetabeel, who was shut up. And he said, Let us meet together in the house of God, within the temple, and let us shut the doors of the temple, for they will come to slay thee, yea, in the night will they come to slay thee. And I said, Should such a man as I flee? And who is there that, being as I am, would go into the temple to save his life? I will not go in. And lo, I perceived that God had not sent him, but that he pronounced this prophecy against me. For Tobiah and Sanballat had hired him. Therefore was he hired, that I should be afraid, and do so in sin, and that they might have matter for an evil report, that they might reproach me. My God, think thou upon Tobiah and Sanballat according to these their works, and on the prophetess Noadiah, and the rest of the prophets that would have put me in fear. So the wall was finished in the 25th day of the month Elul, in 52 days. And it came to pass that when all our enemies heard thereof, and all the heathen that were about us saw these things, they were much cast down in their own eyes, for they perceived that this work was wrought of our God. Moreover, in those days the nobles of Judah sent many letters unto Tobiah, and the letters of Tobiah came unto them. For there were many in Judah sworn unto him, because he was the son-in-law of Shecaniah the son of Arah, and his son Johanan had taken the daughter of Meshullam the son of Berechiah. Also they reported his good deeds before me, and uttered my words to him. And Tobiah sent letters to put me in fear. Nehemiah 7. Now it came to pass, when the wall was built, and I had set up the doors, and the porters, and the singers, and the Levites were appointed, that I gave my brother Hanani, and Hananiah the ruler of the palace, charge over Jerusalem, for he was a faithful man, and feared God above many. And I said unto them, Let not the gates of Jerusalem be opened until the sun be hot, and while they stand by, let them shut the doors, and bar them, and appoint watches of the inhabitants of Jerusalem, every one in his watch, and every one to be over against his house. Now the city was large and great, but the people were few therein, and the houses were not builded. And my God put into mine heart to gather together the nobles, and the rulers, and the people, that they might be reckoned by genealogy. And I found a register of the genealogy of them which came up at the first, and found written therein, These are the children of the province that went up out of the captivity, of those that had been carried away, whom Nebuchadnezzar the king of Babylon had carried away, and came again to Jerusalem and to Judah, every one unto his city. Who came with Zerubbabel, Jeshua, Nehemiah, Azariah, Ramaiah, Nahamani, Mordecai, Bilshan, Mizpareth, Bigvai, Nahum, Baanah. The number, I say, of the men of the people of Israel was this: the children of Parosh, 2,172, the children of Shephatiah, 372, the children of Arah, 652, the children of Pahath Moab, of the children of Jeshua and Joab, 2,818, the children of Elam, 1,254, The children of Zattu, 845. The children of Zakkai, 703 score. The children of Benui, 648. The children of Bebai, 628. The children of Asgad, 2,322. The children of Adonikam, 603 score and 7. The children of Bigvai, 2,003 score and 7. The children of Adin, 650 and 5. The children of Ater of Hezekiah, 90 and 8. The children of Hashum, 320 and 8. The children of Bezai, 320 and 4. The children of Hariph, 112. The children of Gibeon, 90 and 5. The men of Bethlehem and Netopha, 104 score and 8. The men of Anathoth, 120 and 8. The men of Beth Asmaveth, 40 and 2. The men of Kirjath-jearim, Shephirah, and Beeroth, 740 and 3. The men of Ramah and Gaba, 620 and 1. The men of Michmas, 120 and 2. The men of Bethel and Ai, 120 and 3. The men of the other Nebo, 50 and 2. The children of the other Elam, 1,250 and 4. The children of Harim, 320. The children of Jericho, 340 and 5. The children of Lod, Hadid and Ono, 720 and 1. The children of Sinah, 3,930. The priests, the children of Jedaiah, of the house of Jeshua, 970 and 3. The children of Amer, 1,050 and 2. The children of Pashur, 1,240 and 7. The children of Harim, 1,017. The Levites, the children of Jeshua, of Kadmiel, and of the children of Hodavah, 70 and 4. The singers, the children of Asaph, 140 and 8. The porters, the children of Shalom. The children of Ater, the children of Talmon, the children of Akub, the children of Hatita. The children of Shobai, 130 and 8. The Nethinims, the children of Zia, the children of Hashepha, the children of Taboth, the children of Keros, the children of Sia, the children of Padan, the children of Labana, the children of Hagaba, the children of Shalmai, the children of Hanan, the children of Gedel, the children of Gahar, the children of Reaiah, the children of Rezen, the children of Nekoda, the children of Gazam, the children of Uzzah, the children of Phaseah, the children of Besai, the children of Meunim, the children of Nephishhasim, the children of Bagbuk, the children of Hakapha, the children of Harhur, the children of Baslith, the children of Mahida, the children of Harsha, the children of Barkos, the children of Sisra, the children of Tamar, the children of Nezaiah, the children of Hatipha, the children of Solomon's servants, the children of Satai, the children of Sephareth, the children of Perida, the children of Jalah, the children of Darkon, the children of Gedel, the children of Shephatiah, the children of Hatil, the children of Pokereth, of Zebaim, the children of Ammon, all the Nethinims. And the children of Solomon's servants were 390 and 2. And these were they which went up also from Tel Melah, Tel Haresha, Sharab, Adon, and Amer. But they could not show their father's house, nor their seed, whether they were of Israel. The children of Delaiah, the children of Tobiah, the children of Nekoda, 640 and 2. And of the priests, the children of Habaiah, the children of Koz, the children of Barzillai, which took one of the daughters of Barzillai the Gileadite to wife, and was called after their name. These sought their register among those that were reckoned by genealogy, but it was not found. Therefore were they, as polluted, put from the priesthood. And the Tarshitha said unto them that they should not eat of the most holy things, till there stood up a priest with Urim and Thummim. The whole congregation together was 42,303 score, beside their manservants and their maidservants, of whom there were 7,337, and they had 245 singing men and singing women, their horses 736, their mules 245, their camels 435, 6,720 asses. And some of the chief of the fathers gave unto the work. The Tarshitha gave to the treasure 1,000 drams of gold, 50 basins, 530 priests' garments. And some of the chief of the fathers gave to the treasure of the work 20,000 drams of gold, and 2,200 pound of silver. And that which the rest of the people gave was 20,000 drams of gold, and 2,000 pound of silver, and 67 priests' garments. So the priests and the Levites and the porters, and the singers, and some of the people, and the Nethinims. And all Israel dwelt in their cities. And when the 7th month came, the children of Israel were in their cities. Nehemiah 8. And all the people gathered themselves together as one man into the street that was before the water gate. And they spake unto Ezra the scribe to bring the book of the law of Moses, which the Lord had commanded to Israel. And Ezra the priest brought the law before the congregation, both of men and women, and all that could hear with understanding, upon the 1st day of the 7th month. And he read therein before the street that was before the water gate, from the morning until midday, before the men and the women, and those that could understand. And the ears of all the people were attentive unto the book of the law. And Ezra the scribe stood upon a pulpit of wood, which they had made for the purpose, and beside him stood Mattithiah, and Shema, and Anaiah, and Urijah, and Hilkiah, and Maaseiah, on his right hand, and on his left hand Pedaiah, and Mishael, and Malchiah, and Hashum, and Hashbaddanah, Zechariah, and Meshullam. And Ezra opened the book in the sight of all the people, for he was above all the people. And when he opened it, all the people stood up. And Ezra blessed the Lord, the great God. And all the people answered, Amen, Amen, with lifting up their hands. And they bowed their heads, and worshipped the Lord with their faces to the ground. Also Jeshua, and Bani, and Sherebiah, Jamin, Akub, Shabbathai, Hodijah, Maaseiah, Kelita, Azariah, Jozabad, Hanan, Pelaiah, and the Levites caused the people to understand the law. And the people stood in their place. So they read in the book, in the law of God, distinctly, and gave the sense, and caused them to understand the reading. And Nehemiah, which is the Tirshatha, and Ezra the priest the scribe, and the Levites that taught the people, said unto all the people, This day is holy unto the Lord your God. Mourn not, nor weep. For all the people wept when they heard the words of the law. Then he said unto them, Go your way, eat the fat, and drink the sweet, and send portions unto them for whom nothing is prepared. For this day is holy unto our Lord. Neither be ye sorry, for the joy of the Lord is your strength. So the Levites stilled all the people, saying, Hold your peace, for the day is holy, neither be ye grieved. And all the people went their way to eat and to drink and to send portions and to make great mirth, because they had understood the words that were declared unto them. And on the 2nd day were gathered together the chief of the fathers of all the people, the priests and the Levites, unto Ezra the scribe, even to understand the words of the law. And they found written in the law which the Lord had commanded by Moses, that the children of Israel should dwell in booths in the feast of the 7th month, and that they should publish and proclaim in all their cities and in Jerusalem, saying, Go forth unto the mount, and fetch olive branches, and pine branches, and myrtle branches, and palm branches, and branches of thick trees, to make booths, as it is written. So the people went forth and brought them, and made themselves booths, every one upon the roof of his house, and in their courts, and in the courts of the house of God, and in the street of the water gate, and in the street of the gate of Ephraim. And all the congregation of them that were come again out of the captivity made booths, and sat under the booths. For since the days of Jeshua the son of Nun unto that day had not the children of Israel done so. And there was very great gladness. Also day by day, from the 1st day unto the last day, he read in the book of the law of God. And they kept the feast 7 days, and on the 8th day was a solemn assembly, according unto the manner. Nehemiah 9. Now in the 24th day of this month, the children of Israel were assembled with fasting and with sackcloths, and earth upon them. And the seed of Israel separated themselves from all strangers, and stood and confessed their sins and the iniquities of their fathers. And they stood up in their place, and read in the book of the law of the Lord their God 1/4 part of the day, and another 4th part they confessed, and worshipped the Lord their God. Then stood up upon the stairs of the Levites Jeshua and Bani, Kadmiel, Shebaniah, Bunai, Sherebiah, Bani, and Shanani, and cried with a loud voice unto the Lord their God. Then the Levites Jeshua and Kadmiel, Bani, Hashbaniah, Sherebiah, Hodijah, Shebaniah, and Pethahiah said, Stand up and bless the Lord your God for ever and ever, and blessed be thy glorious name, which is exalted above all blessing and praise. Thou, even thou, art Lord alone. Thou hast made heaven, the heaven of heavens, with all their host, the earth and all things that are therein, the seas and all that is therein, and thou preservest them all, and the host of heaven worshippeth thee. Thou art the Lord the God, who didst choose Abram, and broughtest him forth out of Ur of the Chaldees, and gavest him the name of Abraham, and foundest his heart faithful before thee, and madest a covenant with him to give the land of the Canaanites, the Hittites, the Amorites, and the Perizzites, and the Jebusites, and the Girgashites, to give it, I say, to his seed, and hast performed thy words, for thou art righteous, and didst see the affliction of our fathers in Egypt, and heardest their cry by the Red Sea, and showedst signs and wonders upon Pharaoh, and on all his servants, and on all the people of his land. For thou knewest that they dealt proudly against them, so didst thou get thee a name, as it is this day. And thou didst divide the sea before them, so that they went through the midst of the sea on the dry land, and their persecutors thou threwest into the deeps, as a stone into the mighty waters. Moreover, thou leddest them in the day by a cloudy pillar, and in the night by a pillar of fire, to give them light in the way wherein they should go. Thou camest down also upon Mount Sinai, and spakest with them from heaven, and gavest them right judgments and true laws, good statutes and commandments, and madest known unto them thy holy Sabbath, and commandest them precepts, statutes, and laws by the hand of Moses thy servant, and gavest them bread from heaven for their hunger, and broughtest forth water for them out of the rock for their thirst, and promisedst them that they should go in to possess the land which thou hadst sworn to give them. But they and our fathers dealt proudly, and hardened their necks, and hearkened not to thy commandments, and refused to obey, neither were mindful of thy wonders that thou didst among them, but hardened their necks, and in their rebellion appointed a captain to return to their bondage. But thou art a God ready to pardon, gracious and merciful, slow to anger, and of great kindness, and forsookest them not. Yea, when they had made them a molten calf, and said, This is thy God that brought thee up out of Egypt, and had wrought great provocations. Yet thou in thy manifold mercies forsookest them not in the wilderness. The pillar of the cloud departed not from them by day, to lead them in the way, neither the pillar of fire by night to show them light, and the way wherein they should go. Thou gavest also thy good Spirit to instruct them, and withheldest not thy manna from their mouth, and gavest them water for their thirst. Yea, 40 years didst thou sustain them in the wilderness, so that they lacked nothing. Their clothes waxed not old, and their feet swelled not. Moreover, thou gavest them kingdoms and nations, and didst divide them into corners, so they possessed the land of Sion, and the land of the king of Heshbon, and the land of Og, king of Bashan. Their children also multipliedst thou as the stars of heaven, and broughtest them into the land, concerning which thou hadst promised to their fathers that they should go in to possess it. So the children went in, and possessed the land, and thou subduedst before them the inhabitants of the land, the Canaanites, and gavest them into their hands, with their kings, and the people of the land, that they might do with them as they would. And they took strong cities, and a fat land, and possessed houses full of all goods, wells digged, vineyards and oliveyards, and fruit trees in abundance. So they did eat, and were filled, and became fat, and delighted themselves in thy great goodness. Nevertheless they were disobedient, and rebelled against thee, and cast thy law behind their backs, and slew thy prophets which testified against them to turn them to thee. And they wrought great provocations. Therefore thou deliverest them into the hand of their enemies, who vexed them, and in the time of their trouble When they cried unto thee, thou heardest them from heaven, and according to thy manifold mercies thou gavest them saviors, who saved them out of the hand of their enemies. But after they had rest, they did evil again before thee. Therefore leftest thou them in the hand of their enemies, so that they had the dominion over them. Yet when they returned and cried unto thee, thou heardest them from heaven, and many times didst thou deliver them according to thy mercies, and testifiedst against them, that thou mightest bring them again unto thy law. Yet they dealt proudly, and hearkened not unto thy commandments, but sinned against thy judgments, which if a man do, he shall live in them, and withdrew the shoulder, and hardened their neck, and would not hear. Yet many years didst thou forbear them, and testifiedst against them by thy Spirit in thy prophets. Yet would they not give ear. Therefore gavest thou them into the hand of the people of the lands. Nevertheless, for thy great mercy's sake, thou didst not utterly consume them, nor forsake them. For thou art a gracious and merciful God. Now therefore, our God, the great, the mighty, and the terrible God, who keepest covenant and mercy, let not all the trouble seem little before thee, that hath come upon us, on our kings, on our princes, and on our priests, and on our prophets, and on our fathers, and on all thy people, since the time of the kings of Assyria unto this day. Howbeit, thou art just in all that is brought upon us, for thou hast done right, but we have done wickedly. Neither have our kings, our princes, our priests, nor our fathers kept thy law, nor hearkened unto thy commandments and thy testimonies wherewith thou didst testify against them. For they have not served thee in their kingdom, and in thy great goodness that thou gavest to them, and in the large and fat land which thou gavest before them, neither turned they from their wicked works. Behold, we are servants this day, and for the land that thou gavest unto our fathers to eat the fruit thereof, and the good thereof, behold, we are servants in it. And it yieldeth much increase unto the kings whom thou hast set over us because of our sins. Also they have dominion over our bodies, and over our cattle, at their pleasure, and we are in great distress. And because of all this, we make a sure covenant, and write it, and our princes, Levites and priests, seal unto it. Nehemiah 10. Now those that sealed were Nehemiah the Tirshatha, the son of Hakaliah, and Zidkijah, Seraiah, Azariah, Jeremiah, Pashur, Amariah, Malchijah, Hattush, Shebaniah, Malach, Harim, Meremoth, Obadiah, Daniel, Ginnathon, Baruch, Meshullam, Abijah, Mijamin, Maaziah, Bilgai, Shemaiah. These were the priests. And the Levites, both Jeshua the son of Azaniah, Benui of the sons of Henadad, Kadmiel, and their brethren, Shebaniah, Adijah, Kalita, Pelaiah, Hanan, Micah, Rehob, Hashabiah, Zakur, Sherebiah, Shebaniah, Hodijah, Bani, Beninu. The chief of the people, Parosh, Pahath Moab, Elam, Zavu, Bani, Bunai, Asgad, Bibai, Adonijah, Bigvai, Adin, Ater, Iskijah, Azur, Hodijah, Hashum, Bezai, Harif, Anathoth, Nebai, Magpiash, Meshullam, Azir, Meshezabiel, Zadok, Jadua, Pelatiah, Hanan, Ananiah, Hoshea, Hananiah, Hashub, Halohesh, Peleha, Shobek, Rehum, Hashabnah, Maaseiah, Benahijah, Hanan, Anan, Melech, Harum, Baanah. And the rest of the people, the priests, the Levites, the porters, the singers, the Nethinims, and all they that had separated themselves from the people of the lands unto the law of God, their wives, their sons, and their daughters, every one having knowledge and having understanding. They clave to their brethren, their nobles, and entered into a curse and into an oath, to walk in God's law, which was given by Moses the servant of God, and to observe and do all the commandments of the Lord our Lord, and his judgments and his statutes, and that we would not give our daughters unto the people of the land, nor take their daughters for our sons. And if the people of the land bring ware or any victuals on the Sabbath day to sell, that we would not buy it of them on the Sabbath, or on the holy day, and that we would leave the 7th year in the exaction of every debt. Also we made ordinances for us, to charge ourselves yearly with the 3rd part of a shekel for the service of the house of our God, for the showbread, and for the continual meat offering, and for the continual burnt offering, of the Sabbaths, of the new moons, for the set feasts, and for the holy things, and for the sin offerings, to make an atonement for Israel, and for all the work of the house of our God. And we cast the lots among the priests, the Levites, and the people, for the wood offering, to bring it into the house of our God, after the houses of our fathers, at times appointed year by year, to burn upon the altar of the Lord our God, as it is written in the law, and to bring the firstfruits of our ground, and the firstfruits of all fruit of all trees, year by year, unto the house of the Lord. Also the firstborn of our sons and of our cattle, as it is written in the law, and the firstlings of our herds and of our flocks, to bring to the house of our God, unto the priests that minister in the house of our God, and that we should bring the firstfruits of our dough, and our offerings, and the fruit of all manner of trees, of wine, and of oil, unto the priests, to the chambers of the house of our God, and the tithes of our ground unto the Levites. The same Levites might have the tithes in all the cities of our tillage. And the priest, the son of Aaron, shall be with the Levites, when the Levites take tithes, and the Levites shall bring up the tithe of the tithes unto the house of our God, to the chambers, into the treasure house. For the children of Israel and the children of Levi shall bring the offering of the corn, of the new wine, and the oil unto the chambers, where are the vessels of the sanctuary, and the priests that minister, and the porters, and the singers, and we will not forsake the house of our God. Nehemiah 11. And the rulers of the people dwelt at Jerusalem. The rest of the people also cast lot to bring 1 of 10 to dwell in Jerusalem, the holy city, and 9 parts to dwell in other cities. And the people blessed all the men that willingly offered themselves to dwell at Jerusalem. Now these are the chief of the province that dwelt in Jerusalem. For in the cities of Judah dwelt every one in his possession in their cities, to wit Israel, the priests, and the Levites, and the Nethinims, and the children of Solomon's servants. And at Jerusalem dwelt certain of the children of Judah, and of the children of Benjamin. Of the children of Judah, Athahiah, the son of Uzziah, the son of Zechariah, the son of Amariah, the son of Shephatiah, the son of Mahalaliel, of the children of Perez, and Maaseiah, the son of Baruch, the son of Kol-Hoseh, the son of Hazaiah, the son of Adiah, the son of Jehoiarib, the son of Zechariah, the son of Shiloni. All the sons of Perez that dwelt at Jerusalem were 468 valiant men. And these are the sons of Benjamin: Salu, the son of Meshullam, the son of Joed, the son of Pedaiah, the son of Kolaiah, the son of Maaseiah, the son of Ethiel, the son of Jesaiah. And after him Gabbai, Salai, 928. And Joel, the son of Zichri, was their overseer. And Judah, the son of Senuah, was second over the city. Of the priests, Jedaiah, the son of Jehoiarib, Jachin, Seraiah, the son of Hilkiah, the son of Meshullam, the son of Zadok, the son of Marioth, the son of Ahitub, was the ruler of the house of God. And their brethren that did the work of the house were 822. And Adahiah, the son of Jeroham, the son of Pelaliah, the son of Amzai, the son of Zechariah, the son of Pashur, the son of Malchiah, and his brethren, chief of the fathers, 242. And Amashai, the son of Azariel, the son of Ahasai, the son of Meshelemeth, the son of Immer, and their brethren, mighty men of valor, 128. And their overseer was Zabdiel, the son of one of the great men. Also the Levites, Shimei the son of Hashub, the son of Azrikam, the son of Hashabiah, the son of Bunai, and Shabbathai, and Jozabad of the chief of the Levites had the oversight of the outward business of the house of God. And Mattaniah the son of Micah, the son of Zabdi, the son of Asaph, was the principal to begin the thanksgiving in prayer. And Bakbukiah, the second among his brethren, and Abda the son of Shammua, the son of Galal, the son of Jeduthun. All the Levites in the holy city were 284. Moreover the porters, Akkub, Talmon, and their brethren that kept the gates, were 172. And the residue of Israel, of the priests, and the Levites, were in all the cities of Judah, every one in his inheritance. But the Nethinims dwelt in Ophel, and Zehah and Gispa were over the Nethinims. The overseer also of the Levites at Jerusalem was Uzziah, the son of Bani, the son of Hashabiah, the son of Mattaniah, the son of Micah. Of the sons of Asaph, the singers, were over the business of the house of God. For it was the king's commandment concerning them, that a certain portion should be for the singers, due for every day. And Pethahiah the son of Meshezabiel, of the children of Zerah the son of Judah, was at the king's hand in all matters concerning the people. And for the villages with their fields, some of the children of Judah dwelt at Kirjath-Arba, and in the villages thereof, and at Dibon, and in the villages thereof, and at Jekabzeel, and in the villages thereof, and at Jeshua, and at Moladah, and at Beth-Phelet, and at Hazar-Shual, and at Beersheba, and in the villages thereof, and at Ziklag, and at Mekonah, and in the villages thereof, and at En-Rimmon, and in Zereah, and at Jarmuth, Zanoah, Adullam, and in their villages, at Lachish, and the fields thereof at Azekah, and in the villages thereof, and they dwelt from Beersheba unto the valley of Hinnom. The children also of Benjamin from Geba dwelt at Michmash, and Aijah, and Bethel, and in their villages, and at Anathoth, Nob, Ananiah, Hazor, Ramah, Gataim, Hadid, Zeboim, Nebalit, Lod, and Ono, the valley of craftsmen. And of the Levites were divisions in Judah and in Benjamin. Nehemiah 12. Now these are the priests and the Levites that went up with Zerubbabel the son of Shealtiel, and Jeshua, Seraiah, Jeremiah, Ezra, Amariah, Malach, Hattush, Shechaniah, Rehum, Meremoth, Edo, Ginetho, Abijah, Miamin, Maadiah, Bilgah, Shemaiah, and Jehoiarib, and Jedaiah, Salu, Amok, Hilkiah, Jedaiah. These were the chief of the priests and of their brethren in the days of Jeshua. Moreover the Levites, Jeshua, Binnui, Kadmiel, Sherebiah, Judah, and Mattaniah, which was over the thanksgiving, he and his brethren. Also Bakbukiah and Unai, their brethren, were over against them in the watches. And Jeshua begat Jehoiakim. Jehoiakim also begat Eliashib. And Eliashib begat Jehoiada. And Jehoiada begat Jonathan. And Jonathan begat Jaddua. And in the days of Jehoiakim were priests, the chief of the fathers, of Seraiah, Meraiah, of Jeremiah, Hananiah, of Ezra, Meshullam, of Amariah, Johanan, of Malichu, Jonathan, of Shebaniah, Joseph, of Harim, Adnah, of Marioth, Helkiah, of Edo, Zechariah, of Ginathan, Meshullam, of Abijah, Zichri, of Miamin, of Moadiah, Piltai, of Bilgah, Shammua, of Shemaiah, Jehonathan, and of Jehoiarib, Mattaniah, of Jedaiah, Uzai, of Salai, Kalai, of Amok, Eber, of Hilkiah, Hashabiah, of Jedaiah, Nethaniel. The Levites in the days of Eliashib, Jehoiada, and Johanan, and Jaddua were recorded chief of the fathers, also the priests, to the reign of Darius the Persian. The sons of Levi, the chief of the fathers, were written in the book of the Chronicles even until the days of Johanan the son of Eliashib. And the chief of the Levites, Hashabiah, Sherebiah, and Jeshua the son of Kadmiel, with their brethren over against them, to praise and to give thanks, according to the commandment of David the man of God, ward over against ward. Mattaniah and Bakbukiah, Obadiah, Meshullam, Talmon, Akkub were porters keeping the ward at the thresholds of the gates. These were in the days of Jehoiakim the son of Jeshua, the son of Jozadak, and in the days of Nehemiah the governor, and of Ezra the priest, the scribe. And at the dedication of the wall of Jerusalem, they sought the Levites out of all their places, to bring them to Jerusalem, to keep the dedication with gladness, both with thanksgivings, and with singing, with cymbals, psalteries, and with harps. And the sons of the singers gathered themselves together, both out of the plain country round about Jerusalem, and from the villages of Netophathi, also from the house of Gilgal, and out of the fields of Gibeah and Azmaveth. For the singers had builded them villages round about Jerusalem. And the priests and the Levites purified themselves, and purified the people, and the gates, and the wall. Then I brought up the princes of Judah upon the wall, and appointed 2 great companies of them that gave thanks, whereof one went on the right hand upon the wall toward the dung gate. And after them went Hoshaiah, and half of the princes of Judah, and Azariah, Ezra, and Meshullam, Judah and Benjamin, and Shemaiah, and Jeremiah. And certain of the priests' sons with trumpets, namely, Zechariah the son of Jonathan, the son of Shemaiah, the son of Mattaniah, the son of Micaiah, the son of Zakur, the son of Asaph, and his brethren, Shemaiah, and Azareel, Milalai, Gilalai, Mai, Nathaniel, and Judah, Hanani, with the musical instruments of David the man of God, and Ezra the scribe before them. And at the fountain gate which was over against them they went up by the stairs of the city of David, at the going up of the wall above the house of David, even unto the water gate eastward. And the other company of them that gave thanks went over against them, and I after them, and the half of the people upon the wall, from beyond the tower of the furnaces even unto the broad wall, and from above the gate of Ephraim, and above the old gate, and above the fish gate, and the tower of Hananiel, and the tower of Meah, even unto the sheep gate. And they stood still in the prison gate. So stood the 2 companies of them that gave thanks in the house of God, and I, and the half of the rulers with me, and the priests, Eliakim, Maaseiah, Meniamin, Micaiah, Elioenai, Zechariah, and Hananiah with trumpets, and Maaseiah, and Shemaiah, and Eleazar, and Uzai, and Jehohanan, and Malchijah, and Elam, and Azer. And the singers sang loud with Jezreiah their overseer. Also that day they offered great sacrifices, and rejoiced. For God had made them rejoice with great joy. The wives also and the children rejoiced, so that the joy of Jerusalem was heard even afar off. And at that time were some appointed over the chambers for the treasures, for the offerings, for the firstfruits, and for the tithes, to gather into them out of the fields of the cities the portions of the law for the priests and Levites. For Judah rejoiced for the priests, and for the Levites that waited. And both the singers and the porters kept the ward of their God, and the ward of the purification according to the commandment of David, and of Solomon his son. For in the days of David and Asaph of old there were chief of the singers, and songs of praise and thanksgiving unto God. And all Israel, in the days of Zerubbabel, and in the days of Nehemiah, gave the portions of the singers and the porters every day his portion. And they sanctified holy things unto the Levites, and the Levites sanctified them unto the children of Aaron. Nehemiah 13. On that day they read in the book of Moses in the audience of the people, and therein was found written that the Ammonite and the Moabite should not come into the congregation of God forever, because they met not the children of Israel with bread and with water, but hired Balaam against them, that he should curse them. Howbeit our God turned the curse into a blessing. Now it came to pass, when they had heard the law, that they separated from Israel all the mixed multitude. And before this Eliashib the priest, having the oversight of the chamber of the house of our God, was allied unto Tobiah. And he had prepared for him a great chamber, where aforetime they laid the meat offerings, the frankincense, and the vessels, and the tithes of the corn, the new wine, and the oil which was commanded to be given to the Levites, and the singers, and the porters, and the offerings of the priests. But in all this time was not I at Jerusalem, For in the 32 year of Artaxerxes king of Babylon came I unto the king, and after certain days obtained I leave of the king. And I came to Jerusalem, and understood of the evil that Eliashib did for Tobiah, in preparing him a chamber in the courts of the house of God. And it grieved me sore. Therefore I cast forth all the household stuff of Tobiah out of the chamber. Then I commanded, and they cleansed the chambers. And thither brought I again the vessels of the house of God, with the meat offering and the frankincense. And I perceived that the portions of the Levites had not been given them, for the Levites and the singers that did the work were fled every one to his field. Then contended I with the rulers, and said, Why is the house of God forsaken? And I gathered them together, and set them in their place. Then brought all Judah the tithe of the corn, and the new wine, and the oil unto the treasuries. And I made treasurers over the treasuries, Shelemiah the priest, and Zadok the scribe, and of the Levites Pedaiah, and next to them was Hanan the son of Zakur, the son of Mattaniah, for they were counted faithful, and their office was to distribute unto their brethren. Remember me, O my God, concerning this, and wipe not out my good deeds that I have done for the house of my God, and for the offices thereof. In those days saw I in Judah some treading winepresses on the Sabbath, and bringing in sheaves and lading asses, as also wine grapes and figs and all manner of burdens, which they brought into Jerusalem on the Sabbath day. And I testified against them in the day wherein they sold victuals. There dwelt men of Tyre also therein, which brought fish and all manner of ware, and sold on the Sabbath unto the children of Judah, and in Jerusalem. Then I contended with the nobles of Judah, and said unto them, What evil thing is this that ye do, and profane the Sabbath day? Did not your fathers thus, and did not our God bring all this evil upon us, and upon this city? Yet ye bring more wrath upon Israel by profaning the Sabbath. And it came to pass, that when the gates of Jerusalem began to be dark before the Sabbath, I commanded that the gates should be shut, and charged they should not be opened till after the Sabbath. And some of my servants set I at the gates, that there should no burden be brought in on the Sabbath day. So the merchants and sellers of all kind of ware lodged without Jerusalem once or twice. Then I testified against them, and said unto them, Why lodge ye about the wall? If ye do so again, I will lay hands on you. From that time forth came they no more on the Sabbath. And I commanded the Levites that they should cleanse themselves, and that they should come and keep the gates to sanctify the Sabbath day. Remember me, O my God, concerning this also, and spare me according to the greatness of thy mercy. In those days also saw I Jews that had married wives of Ashdod, of Ammon, and of Moab. And their children spake half in the speech of Ashdod, and could not speak in the Jews' language, but according to the language of each people. And I contended with them, and cursed them, and smote certain of them, and plucked off their hair, and made them swear by God, saying, Ye shall not give your daughters unto their sons, nor take their daughters unto your sons, or for yourselves. Did not Solomon king of Israel sin by these things? Yet among many nations was there no king like him, who was beloved of his God. And God made him king over all Israel. Nevertheless, even him did outlandish women cause to sin. Shall we then hearken unto you to do all this great evil, to transgress against our God in marrying strange wives? And one of the sons of Jehoiada, the son of Eliashib, the high priest, was son-in-law to Sanballat the Horonite. Therefore I chased him from me. Remember then, O my God, because they have defiled the priesthood, and the covenant of the priesthood and of the Levites. Thus cleansed I them from all strangers, and appointed the wards of the priests and the Levites, every one in his business, and for the wood offering at times appointed, and for the first fruits. Remember me, O my God, for good.